Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool. This is the podcast where you get free swim workouts and tips that'll help you swim better. My name is Nathan Cohen. I'm a professional triathlete. With me is Kyle Brill, two-time Olympic trial swimmer, former D1 swimmer at University of Santa Barbara. And yeah, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I always appreciate the intro. One of these days, I'll have the confidence to introduce you and make sure everybody knows
Yeah.
all about your resume. I think I tried it in one of the episodes a while back, and it was a
Yeah.
little
I
ugly.
got I
But
gotta win more. I gotta do more cool stuff and then I'll have a better intro. It'll be easy.
yeah, and I need to get the flow of things. It's easier for me to talk second, so I'll take it while I can until you pop off, and I need to say something about you before we start the podcast.
Yeah. Well, today we got a cool set that Kyle brought us today. He coaches Master Swim part time. So he brought a set from the Masters group, and I've swam with this Masters group in Santa Barbara at the Los Baños pool. Beautiful 50-meter pool right by the water, and they've got some really strong swimmers there. So they always have quality sets. So we're going to dive right into it. But before we do that, I've got a quick tip for you guys. And this quick tip is something we've kind of like talked about before, but it's something that keeps coming up, especially like this time of year. Like people are starting their swim seasons and stuff like that. And it's find a training partner. Like especially if you're a triathlete and you're used to swimming on your own, like find someone to swim with who can ideally swim around the same pace as you, maybe a little bit faster, and you can guys can push each other. So like I have a training partner, shout out to Thomas. He swims with me pretty much every day, and he's a little bit faster of a sprinter than me, and then I'm kind of faster on the longer distance stuff. But we just like push each other, we get the most out of each other, and it just makes it so much easier to show up to the pool when you know someone else is also showing up. So that's kind of my tip: is try and find a training partner or join a masters group like Kyle coaches, and you'll have a ton of training partners. So yeah, that's my tip for today.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. I actually like got diagnosed with a mysterious disease where if I have to do a swim set on my own, I suddenly can't and I have to get out of the
Yeah,
pool.
it's
So,
crazy.
yeah, I think I developed that by, just enjoying my time so much with group swimming. It's just such a blast to be able to have somebody to push you, and it cuts out so much of the motivation work. It lets you flow. It's almost like, you know, having to get out of bed and just like walk to grab something versus already being warmed up and bouncing around your house. Like just having somebody there with you, like moving around just gives you so much more momentum, and that makes it so much easier to train. So Nate, that was a great tip. Even if it has to be repeated every few episodes, like that is one of the best swimming tips I think you could possibly give.
Definitely. So Kyle, what's this set you brought us to? Is this the one you did actually today and you coached it?
Yes, at the time of recording, this was done about like, well, this was started about 2 hours ago, so I actually just came home
Nice.
from
This
it.
is
So
fresh off the press.
yeah, so this was written by Mark Story, the head coach of Masters. I'm just one of his underlings that repeats it to people, but I'm allowed to make some changes on it if I think that there's, either some time limit or some variation of it that I think is going to be weird for the group that's there. So yeah, we had about, I think overall the whole mass there was about 100 people that did this set today
Oh
on
dang.
Wednesday. It's about 60 in the morning and about 30 in the evening. So pretty good crew that does this, and then a few people get this set to them and do it on their own. Those poor souls without a training partner. But
Yeah, man. That's tough.
anyways, yeah. So it was. Do you want me to just jump right into
Yeah,
it,
jump
Nate?
right
Here.
into it. Yeah.
Cool. So we had a 300 with choice equipment on base plus 45. So I kind of explain the base system while I'm going through this too. For anyone that doesn't know, and it's not always exactly universal, but for our like group, we just have so many people of different speeds. And we have people that can swim at long course, for example, on a 120 base and still be able to play with their speed and stuff like that, all the way up to people that are like 2 minute base per hundred and even a little bit slower. And if it's like 5 100s on a given interval is really difficult for you but makeable, that's probably around what your base is, give or take how you feel on a certain day. So when we do a 300 choice equipment on base, that's a different interval for everybody. But the plus usually is a good indicator of the speed that people are supposed to go. So something that's directly on base is going to be really fast, really tight. And anything that's, for example, a 300 on plus 45 is it is a 300, so you don't get a ton of rest overall, but yeah, that's meant to be pretty chill. So it kind of indicates for our group, hey, that's a smooth effort. And then we go into 4 100s with paddles on base plus 10, rolling 25 strong. So that's the first 25 of the first 100 is going to be strong, and the rest is going to be smooth. And then for the second 200 or second 100, the second 25 is going to be strong, and then for the third 100 and fourth, so
Yeah,
on.
yeah. That's awesome. I
And
like
then
that.
yeah, so that was like, and then the last part of the warm up here is 3 times through 250s on base plus 15. There's going to be a 15 fast. The rest is going to be smooth. And then 100 on base plus 15, a 50 IM to the wall, and then a 50 freestyle. So I told everyone you can kind of do as many strokes as you want, but I better see it was at least one breaststroke stroke or you're in trouble.
Nice.
And I didn't see anyone skip their one mandatory breaststroke stroke in there. So a 50 IM long course is actually, I think, a really fun thing to throw in for a set because it makes people think a little bit. It's not as automatic and stuff like they
Hmm.
have to figure out mentally where they're going to switch their stroke. So it's cool and it warms up all the different muscles in your body. And nobody really is complaining about a 50 IM. So cool way to sneak an IM if you're a coach that has a lot of IM haters in there. I think that's a fun way to do it and warm everybody up. And then finishing the warm up, 250s on base. That's going to be a lot faster, just kind of a little tighter, but you're only stopping once and then you get a reset into the next 2 rounds. So
Hmm.
pretty long warm up for our masters group. This is longer than probably at least 5 or 6 of the last warm ups we've done. So everyone was pretty well into the workout by the time we finished this. And yeah, Nate, what are your thoughts so far?
Dude, I like that 50 IM. I think that's pretty fun because it's you're right. It's just such a good way to warm up. It's like a way to play in the water, which I think is really important. You can't always just be so rigid and serious. Sometimes you got to have a little fun and like do an awkward butterfly to backstroke in the middle of the pool transition, and
Yeah.
backstroke to breaststroke or whatever. And it's like it's a cool warm up, and I like it. And then you have a little speed in there, and it's like it's 250s, 100, and then 250s. It's easy to wrap your mind around. And yeah, I think it would be good. I'd be super warm after this warm up, and I feel like ready to go. And I feel like it would also flow really fast too, which I really like that for a warm up. Because I hate it when you're like halfway through a warm up and you're just like, oh gosh, I have so much more to go. And we're not even at the
Yeah.
main set yet. But I feel like this is one you'd just be like kind of rolling through it. And before you know it, it's done. And you're like, oh, sweet. We've already done like 1500 or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's kind of cool how naturally the warm up kind of shows a descent in terms of just sheer yardage. Like it starts with a lot of yardage, which you can kind of attack nice and slow. But then by the time you're actually warmed up, you don't have to go crazy far. You're just doing like a 50. So it becomes very approachable as you're warmed up and you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to do this like 300 pretty fast because I'm like really warmed up, like yeah, or whatever. So I kind of like these warm ups. They're very mentally soothing for me going into a main set. They're not. I don't feel like I'm getting torn apart by the warm up and then getting beat up by the main set. I feel like the warm up is really just the warm up, which is cool. But I'm still like my brain's being tricked. Like I'm still working pretty hard. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a.
I like that. So, oh shoot. Ooh, getting a spam call. Awkward.
Uh-oh.
That's
They're trying to
awkward.
interrupt our podcast.
Dude, it's the 661, dude. I feel like I get more
Oh,
just
that's my
because I have
area
a
code.
six. Yeah, just because I have a 661 number. I feel like,
I think it's Bakersfield. I'm blaming Bakersfield. All
dude,
the old scam,
someone.
they or at least they're putting their IPs there. Whoever's scamming, they chose Bakersfield. So if
Yeah,
you're from Bakersfield, you better do something about that, please.
yeah. Hunt them down. End it for me and Kyle's sake. Anyways, what's this main set?
All right, yeah, let's get into it. It's a pretty simple one overall, in terms of like it's just a 1 round set. Um, it's gonna be 5 100s, or it's basically broken up into 3 blocks. It's gonna be 5 100s, an extra 30 seconds, yeah, 3 200s, then an extra minute, and then 5 100s again. And the 3 200s is actually the main focus of the set.
Oh gosh, that looks
Whenever you
hard.
see, yeah, the words best average in there, it's about to go down. Like those words like burn fear into my heart because it's usually a test set or a deep in a training set that they're using to gather data because it's very like very standard. So yeah, 5 100s basically is kind of almost a secondary warm up to that. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be on base plus 10, so pretty fairly tight interval, and you're going to descend the first three and then hold 4 to 5 as you did
Okay.
for the third one. So you're kind of doing like two to kind of break into it, and then three a little bit stronger. But nothing in there is fast. You're just keeping the heart rate up for the most
Mm-hmm.
part there. Um, so yeah, and then extra 30 seconds. I actually changed that to a minute for the group today, so they could have a
Yeah.
little extra time to process and talk and get a lane order, finalized, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 200's best average on base plus 30, so a good amount of rest there. Needed to be fast, but the thing with best averages is like if you took your 3 200s and you added them all up together, you would want the fastest average like time
Mm-hmm.
of each 200. So you don't want to go crazy hard on the first one or descend it or
Yeah.
only go hard on the last one. You want to make all three almost as close together as you can while making them all really fast. So it's a pretty difficult set. You're really just like kind of gritting your teeth the whole way through. There's not any ebb and flow. It's just kind of it's a bit painful, but it's a great way to kind of see where your progress is at, I think, for a practice and kind of it's almost like a having a meet without actually having a meet because it really just like if you did this set and then you do best average again, it's very clear to see, oh, okay, I hit a little bit of a faster best average this time. So it's a very good like comparable metric between, different days. So it's a little tough though. You've got to be in a good mood to approach it. So that was kind of the focus, and I honestly wasn't too worried. Like if some of the groups we had ran out of time after this, so they were kind of
Mm-hmm.
shutting it down. But the people that did have time took an extra minute. We did 5 100s to kind of wrap it up. Base plus 10, descending 1 to 2, holding 3 to 5, which I just changed to odds were strong, evens were easy, and then did just number 4 and 5 as warm down. So just kind of the first and third one to be strong,
Okay.
just to make sure people didn't leave more in the tank after that second block of the 2 300s. So.
Yeah. And I imagine a lot of people went to the buoy and paddles for those 5 1s and did them pulling or something like that.
Yeah, actually, everyone pretty much stayed in the water and was really trying to maximize time. But yeah, some paddles got busted out for sure. And you could definitely see the speed slow down. I think everyone did a really good job on the 2 300s and got that as the focus. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, some people treated those 5 100s like a warm down. Some people treated it as like a kind of an active recovery to like they didn't fully warm it down, but they were still moving pretty good. So it kind of was nice because people were kind of able to pick like do I want to really attack this or is this kind of that kind of it the last one there. So especially for a group like Masters where everybody's goals are wildly different and what they want to get out of a practice, I thought that third round was kind of a good round to be up to interpretation for at least that group.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about this set is that it's 3 for the best average. Because 3 is like a number, even though it's 200s, it's a number you could like really wrap your head around. It's like you go the first one and then you're like, okay, that was hard, but I only have 2 left. And really, you only have 1 left because the last one's free. So it's really just 2. And the first one's free too. You don't really have to try that hard. So it's really just 1. And you can like trick your brain and all this. This is what I tell myself when I'm doing 3. But like 3 is like a nice number to wrap your mind around. And you can go really hard and best average. I think it's superior to threshold. Like triathletes do too much threshold. They should do more best average. And you could play with it too. You can mix it up and do 75s, 100s, 50s, all these different things, 200s. And yeah, I think it's just a really good way to approach the swim and just know it's going to be hard and that's okay, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a great interpretation of it. I think, yeah, and I think a lot of people from a very big range can get something out of this, especially with it being freestyle dominated. So I think this is a great set for kind of anybody to try on any spectrum of the swimming or triathlete, like realm. It could work for me, it could work for you, it could work for, even a sprinter would be able to maybe modify this and make those 3 200s, 3 100s, or 350s or something like that. And so it's a very flexible set. So kind of like
Yeah.
it in that way.
Nice. Well, we're gonna close out, and dude, this hot take, it's literally just because this news came out today. I got the email from Ironman.
Oh boy, what
This is
is?
a triathlon take, you guys. I'm sorry. I have to address this on the pod. So it's documented, but they're changing the drafting rule for Ironman on the bike to where it used to be 12 meters for pros. Now it's going to be 20 meters for pro races on the bike. So it's a further distance you can't ride within 20 meters of the person ahead of you. So it essentially is just going to spread it out. And they're saying, like, oh, because the racing has gotten faster, it's more fair or whatever. And my hot take is like, if you're gonna make it 20 meters, you might as well tell people they can't draft in the swim. Like they can't swim on people's feet. You might as well tell people you can't run on someone's hip for like the half marathon or something like Christian did to Helligines at the Ironman World Champs. He literally ran like 20K right behind him and then tried to outsprint him. It's like you might as well make all these other rules because it's not more fair or whatever. It's just like it's just
Yeah.
pointless, you know.
It's I don't understand like why they want to throw viewership away. Like what there's nothing more exciting than seeing a group of 20 cyclists come in all like in relatively the
Yeah.
same time and duke it out for a run. If someone's so far ahead because nobody can is allowed to draft them, like you've sucked all the fun. No one wants to watch someone lead a race for 8 straight hours. They want to see changing of the guards, draft groups. They want to see people like they want to see like, that's what makes I think cycling so interesting too. So I totally agree with that take.
It's also like it's only going to benefit the pros who have bike sponsors and can get wind tunnel time too. It's going to make it's already a hard sport to get into. Like Kyle knows, he did his first like 70.3. It's freaking expensive, dude. Like the bikes and stuff are like $12,000, $15,000, like these top pro bikes. And if you're trying to break into this sport as like a competitive age grouper trying to go pro or something like that, it's just going to be so much harder for you to get into it because these guys are going to have even more of an advantage because when a new helmet comes out, they're like, "Oh, my sponsor can just pay for me to go to the wind tunnel and I could test 10 different helmets to see which one's going to save me 20 watts or whatever." And other people are just like younger pros or people getting into the sport just don't do that, and it's just going to make it less competitive because you're going to have less competitors in the sport because they're going to be like, you know what, kind of sucks finishing 30th because I'm on a 10-year-old bike and this
Yeah.
person just spends all the time in the wind tunnel testing all this stuff. It's like the 20-meter
Yeah.
rule.
That's exactly why swimming banned those super suits. Well,
Yeah.
there was a few reasons, but in 2009, when all those world records were getting absolutely shattered, it's because, well, first of all, those suits were almost pushing people's organs around from how tight they were, but it was more of a concept of these suits just being so expensive and
Yeah, it's
so
just not
hard to
fair
come
to other
across that
people,
only the
you know?
top people were getting them, and the gap between the top pros and these amateurs was rapidly increasing, and they cracked down on it. So it's just
Mhm.
I don't know why other sports have to get so far, especially with financial discrepancies, but it's
Yeah.
just
Dude, if you really want a hot take, all these people who are like, oh yeah, watching Kipchoge run the marathon is so cool. Like these Kenyan runners, like they're so fast from Africa. None of those guys are pro triathletes. You know why? Because it's too freaking expensive. And it's not going to be any easier for like people from Africa who could be amazing triathletes. They're already obviously amazing endurance athletes and runners. It's going to be harder for those people to get into the sport. It's just going to be a bunch of European guys, you know, who have their wind tunnels and have their bike sponsors and all that stuff. It's like,
yeah,
I would love to see a Kenyan guy who could get into Ironman and just smash people to bits because they're aerobic machines, you know?
yeah,
Like, I'm tired of watching all these European guys dominate the sport. Like, let's get people from all over the world into it, and making 20-meter draft rule is not the way to do that. That's
yeah.
my hot take.
No.
Peace. See you guys on the next one.
Bye, y'all.